This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Philly Sports Guy Show. Today is Wednesday, September 7th, and we had some baseball yesterday. We were talking about the Fightins, and we are talking about the Fightins. The Fightins come out yesterday, and of course, Nola's pitching, which means that they decide that they're not going to score many runs at all, even though they're facing the Marlins. It's okay. They wind up scoring a couple of runs. I tell you, they got lucky winning this game yesterday. I watched this game. Obviously, I was not there at the game. There wasn't very many people at that game because they weren't sure whether they were even going to have it or not with the rain and what have you. But they wind up having the game. Starts at 6:45. Nola goes out there and strikes out the side in the beginning, and ultimately they wind up winning this game on very interesting game just in general. So let's start off. Let's start off with the second run of this game, which is really that as the deciding factor in this game. I don't look at anything else beyond that. This is the run that won this game. Sosa winds up hitting a home run, scoring the first run. Miami ties it up in the bottom of the fourth inning or the top of the fourth inning. I mean, and in the sixth inning, Alec hits a sacrifice out to, I guess it's what is it, to left field, and Brian Anderson throws it home, and he beats Sosa by at least 3-4 steps. Sosa gets tagged out. However, they go to the replay. They went to the replay on this game, and it was it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind how this rule is addressed. They said that the catcher did not give Sosa any place for him to slide, and because of that, that was a good run, and they wind up taking the lead 2-1 there, which instead of being the third out, I tell you, it is. I don't even know how you score that play. I really don't even know how you score that play. I mean, is that an error because the catcher was in the wrong position? I mean, literally had Sosa out dead to rights, but the people wherever it is that they're checking those replays that comes out and says, nope, safe, ball's overturned, run scores. Phillies are up 2-1. And I was like, wow, all right, well, whatever. Brian Anderson seemed to be figured out a lot in this. He hits a single to score the first run. He hits the sacrifice fly to tie the game up again in the eighth inning. So it's now tied 2-2. And then in the ninth inning, you have Bryce Harper up to bat. And he hits a a weak fly to left field. But everybody's got to run to the ball. So you have the shortstop running to the ball. You have the left fielder running to the ball. Brian Anderson, as he starts to get underneath of it, he slips on the turf, falls down, ball falls down, fair ball. And Bryce Harper, who wasn't really running out of the box, all of a sudden goes crazy running and barely gets to second base. Next Next batter is JT Realmuto, and they just automatically put him on. He gets the intentional walk, which brings Gene Segura up to the plate, and Gene Segura knocks a single into right field. Harper beat running home. The throw to the plate. Harper is in time, beats the throw by like a half a step, and the Phillies walk off this win 3-2 against the Marlins, handing the Marlins their 8th loss in a row. So it was a tough game. Like I said, they don't like to hit the ball when Nola is pitching. They wind up getting 6 hits, 3 runs. Robertson gets the win. Obviously, he goes 4-2 on the year. He pitched only 1 inning, gives up a hit, and strikes out 1, walked 2 in the process, but winds up getting the win in that regard. And the Phillies walk it off in unique fashion, in very unique fashion. This was a game that I kind of feel they should not have won. That the baseball gods, or more likely the baseball people who were at in the office saying, we would much rather see Philly win than Florida. There's the ones that made the call on the play at the plate, which I think is ridiculous. That I know it helped out the Phillies there, but realistically, that is a ridiculous play. That is a ridiculous play to call otherwise. I mean, for 125 years, catchers have been getting bowled over. And I understand why they don't want that to happen anymore, that you must slide or give yourself up or whatever it is if you want to go that route, and not have massive collisions at the plate. I mean, this is where Buster Posey went. It's the Buster Posey rule, and ultimately, nobody knows how to really interpret the rule, because I mean, the ball thrown right to the guy. He caught the ball, didn't even move, and winds up tagging the guy out. And because of that, because he didn't like lift his leg or let the guy be able to slide underneath him or whatever, it winds up being a call of safe. And I feel like not only did the Marlins get robbed here of that run or that out, which would have ended the inning, they definitely got robbed of this win. And the manager didn't even know what to do. He's like, really, that's what happens here. But you knew it was coming. You absolutely knew it was coming. That he was out by a mile, but nope, they're going to call him safe because weirdo rule. And I don't like when rules work for one team or another. My thought is it's going to go against us at some point. Hopefully it won't be in the playoffs in a meaningful game. That it'll just come back to us in like a game where we don't really need or what have you. But this was it was just a ridiculous call to me. It was an absolute ridiculous call. And I had to say something about it. I know that it helped the Phillies win, and we'll take whatever win any way we can get it, because we are in this playoff hunt and we got to be able to stay above not only Milwaukee, but we want to be able to keep pace with the Padres, because we never know what's going to happen. Because as of right now, there is a tie atop the NL East. The Mets and the Braves are both tied for the lead. So it could be, who knows what's going to happen today. The Braves squeaked one out against the A's yesterday, and they won that game 10-9. And the Mets got spanked by the Pirates 8-2. So they have a doubleheader today. So they could, if they lose one of these games and Atlanta wins, the Mets could have relinquished their, I think was 1 point, a 12-game lead in the division. So that's something to look forward to. For anything else, the Phillies do play again tonight against the Marlins. It's a 6:45 start. We are going to have Trevor Rogers bringing his 4-10 record with a 5.57 ERA in 88 strikeouts in 93.2 innings pitched, going up against Bailey Falter, who's pitched pretty well of late. He's a 3-3 record with a 4.08 ERA. He's got 52 strikeouts in 57.1 innings pitched. That's a 6:45 start. They're going to try to get this one in. Hopefully the weather will be able to handle this. I know that they're talking about rain off and on today. The Phillies are going to do whatever they can to try to get these games in. It's going to be too much to try to work it out. I know that we go to Florida for another 3 games, but this is the last series. So they're going to try to make sure that we get these games in if they can. So I would expect that even if it's raining, expect a long rain delay today. They are going to play this game come hell or high water. That being said, like I said, there's a tie atop the NL East, and it doesn't include the Phillies. The Phillies are still 10.5 games back of the lead, or I think it's now 10 games back. But ultimately, they are, who's going to win this division as of right now? Because the big thing is that if we wind up in the second wild card spot. Right now, it looks like that the Braves and the Mets, it's going to be a toss-up on who's going to win. The other one is going to be in that first wild card spot and would be the team that we would face off against. I would prefer it to be the Braves because the Mets are our number this year. However, with the way that the Mets are playing, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't mind going up against them right this minute. But they're going to have a few weeks to try to right the ship and hopefully either they write it and they win the division and we go up against Atlanta, who we do have 6 or 7 more games with, or we wind up in the third spot, the third wild card, and we go up against St. Louis, who right now is only 5 games back of the NL East, to become the second-tier team and not even have to face off in the wild card. So there's a lot of stuff going on here in baseball. Lots to pay attention to. We'll talk about this again starting tomorrow and next week. But in the meantime, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back right after these messages, and we'll talk more about what's going on in the rest of Philadelphia sports right after these commercial messages.
Welcome to the Everyday GSD Podcast. Today's special guest, Welcome to a true
It's the man of the job. It's the man of anything. Success is based on participation. So I participate daily.
daily. Yeah.
For those who don't know, it's Cold War era.
Anybody wants to hear anything I have to say, but you and I have a lot of great conversations.
Everyday GSD is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. It's a way of life. The show's guests come from all walks of life and all have the same everyday get shit done mentality in common. Many are former military special operators who are now everyday GSDing in their civilian life. Others are civilians who get shit done on a daily basis. Veteran, prior military, the goal is to motivate and inspire through like-minded guests sharing epic life stories. Ultimately, what we want the audience to realize is every day is an opportunity to get up and get shit done. My name is Darren Bebo, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jonica, and I everyday GSD.
My name is Mike Rebell, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jeffrey Barnett, and I everyday GSD.
This is Wojo, and I everyday GSD.
This is Jake, and I everyday GSD.
My name is Hannah Gaber, and I everyday GSD.
This is Rachel, and I everyday GSD.
My name's Keith Dixon, and I everyday GSD.
My name's Kyle McCord, and I everyday GSD.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready. I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
And welcome back. And, let's welcome our new partner, Everyday GSD. That hashtag, go check it out on YouTube. They've got some fantastic podcasts there. A friend of mine, Darren Bebo, is the lead on that. And he has written a couple of books. SEAL, Navy SEAL, actually Coast Guard SEAL, which means he is the leader of the group. But he has a great story and has some fantastic guests. Definitely go check him out. Again, hashtag everyday GSD. Something else that's happening in the life of the Philly sports guy. There is something that is going on, and somehow I wound up being a part of it. And you could be able to vote for me to be the next face of horror. That's right. Go to that website and you can place a vote for me to be the next face of horror. I don't know how I got nominated, but somehow I did. And you could see this guy. I'm currently in 4th place, which is amazing to me on how that even is occurring. Obviously, I'm literally in 4th place in this, and I'll show you who I'm going up against. And there's a lot of people. Obviously, this is the first round of voting, and voting is going to be ending in 8 days here. But you could see, I'm just going to give you the top 8. You have Spike, Susan, Robin, myself, and then Deborah, Nicole, Jade, and Terry. These guys are really into horror. I personally look a little funny in that whole mix there, but I'm not the only one who has just a normal picture. As we go further down, we have Tanner and Cassandra and Ryan and Jill. There's 86 people that are in this contest. This is just one. There is going to be 3 levels of this, I assume. So please vote for me. Get me through to second round here. Again, you'll see the link down below. Vote for me to be the next face of horror. That's right. I could be the next face of horror going forward. Also, real quickly, I wanted to just mention this too as well. You can use me for all of your messaging needs. Just go to Cameo, look me up as the Philly Sports Guy, and I will do a message for you. Cost is minimal, and ultimately, you can get a personal message for anybody, whether it be a birthday, anniversary. You just want me to shout out for the birds. Do whatever you want to do. You can go and find me on Cameo, and I will do your message. So definitely check me out, the Philly Sports Guy on Cameo. That being said, let's go back to talking about Philadelphia sports. Philly is signed the Sixers. The Philadelphia 76ers made a signing yesterday. They got, I want to say his name right. It's Montrezl Harrell. Signs a 2-year, $5.2 million deal. That was the sixth man of the year in 2019 and 2020 when he played for Doc Rivers before he came here to the Sixers and when he was playing with the Clippers. He currently was on the Charlotte Hornets, and he gets to sign a 2-year deal. The most notable thing about this guy is that him and Embiid had a couple of run-ins together while they played each other. I think it was maybe it was last year or the year before that. So they have had a little bit of tension between the two. Now they are teammates. So it does look like it's like I said, this is what they are going to use instead in place of like Andre Drummond or DeAndre Jordan. Andre Drummond was a great fit here. Obviously, he got traded away as part of the Harden deal, and then he re-signed somewhere else. DeAndre Jordan was not very good as a Sixer. He just kind of took up space, but he wound up, I think his plus minus was like negative. He went out onto the court. So ultimately, it's best that he moves on. And now we have, again, Montrezl Harrell, who's going to be able to fill in those extra minutes when Embiid is not on the court. So I'm actually rather excited for that. We definitely need as much help on the bench as we possibly can get, moving forward. So it's going to be interesting as we definitely keep going here and such. But more importantly, this Sunday and literally tomorrow starts the kickoff for the NFL season. Starts tomorrow at 8:30 between the Bills and the Rams. And then on Sunday, we have football action for real in Philadelphia. Actually, it's not in Philadelphia. It's in Detroit, but Philadelphia is playing. You're going to see me up there as well. The Eagles start off their 2022 campaign for the chip against Detroit Lions. And it's going to be a fun game. Last year, we beat Detroit 44-6. It'll be interesting to see. This is going to be a very good matchup for a couple of things that I expect to look for. The offensive line versus their defensive line. Obviously, they added Hutchinson, and they have a pretty good defensive line in general. So it's going to be a good early season test for our offensive line and our defensive line going up against a pretty good offensive line with a couple of names that we would actually recognize over there. I think it's Halavului Vaitai is still on that team there. I believe that they have another ex-Eagle that is a starting lineman for that offensive line. It is a fairly good offensive line, and it will be a very good early season test for the Eagles going forward here. They have changed the line. I'm not exactly sure why. It was 4.5, but now it has come off the board. The over-under for this game is 48.5. Not exactly sure why they took that number off the board. I think that it's probably been a lot of action on the Eagles side because I have the Eagles ahead, winning this game by about 11 to 14 points. I'm not exactly sure what. I think it's going to be a lot closer game than people expect, and that they're going to score a late touchdown to kind of put it out of arm's reach. But Until that point, I think it's going to be back and forth. This is not going to be the 44-6 game that we saw last Halloween, where we went into Detroit and just crushed them. I think that Detroit's going to be a lot better team this year all the way around. I have them actually listed as going to be in second place. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be the Vikings that win that division, and that Detroit's going to be in second place. I think they wind up with an 8-9 record. I think Green Bay is not going to be very good at all this year, that they are definitely going to take a step or two back. That even though that they have Aaron Rodgers, that defense is sus, and I don't think that they are going to be able to stop many teams, and I don't know that Rodgers has got the weapons to be able to compete with these teams, especially when he's got to play a first place schedule. I know that Minnesota is got Kirk Cousins on their team, and we're going to see them in our home opener on Monday Night Football here next week. However, I just do not suspect. I think that they're going to win a couple of games. Actually, Jalen Reagor does come back as well. And here's one of my Lions friends right now, Susanna. I'm going to see her in a couple of days. I'm sure she's all excited for the Lions season. Like I said, I think that they're going to have a lot to cheer for this year. They haven't had much to cheer for a lot in Detroit, and I think that they are going to be a much better team. I don't know that they're going to be a playoff team. Like I said, I have them going 8-9 this year, and that's going to be good enough, I think, for second place in that division. So there's going to be a lot going on there with Detroit. I feel like that coach is doing the right things. Plus, they have a great assistant head coach in Deuce Staley, who's really knows how to fire guys up, and he's really going to be the one guy who's going to be able to motivate the players of Detroit to do really well. I can imagine, like I said, I know that you're all excited. The one thing I will say is Detroit has a fantastic fan base that's very loyal to that team. I've been up there. I was up there last year. I have a number of friends that are very, very loyal to the Lions. And I tell you, it's tough to be a Lions fan sometimes, but these guys go out there and they support their team every year, every game. And it makes for a fun tailgate and a very fun time. Like I says, every time that I go out to Detroit, or I see the Detroit fan base, they come in busloads. So it's like, and they have super fans galore. Like I says, I go up there, and I used to live in Detroit for a few minutes, so it's always fun for me to go back there and hang out with friends that I've met over the years. But like I said, the Lions fans, and I do believe that they've got something to be excited about this year. I think a couple of specific things that could happen, and they could wind up being a 9-8 or even possibly a 10-7 team. They played a lot of games very hard and lost by like 1 or 2 points in a lot of those games. I feel that the next year that happens, you win those games. So you lose games, very close games, and then you win these games the following year because you've learned from those mistakes. So I expect Detroit to actually give a pretty good game here. I do think that the Eagles are going to win this game. I have it listed 31-17, so I have it as like a 14-point game. It could be more. It could be 34-20 or 31-20. It's going to be somewhere around that mix. I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game in terms of that, although that is an over what it is that I'm talking about. Actually, 31-17 is right there on the number at 48.5. So, but I still think that we're just going to be a little too strong, and it's going to take a minute or two for Detroit to kind of put it all together. And like I said, I think that they are going to do some damage in their division. Expect Detroit to win the lion's share. Funny as I say it like that, I have pun intended, the lion's share of their divisional games. I actually have them going 4-2 in the division. And I think that means that they're going to split with both Minnesota and Green Bay, and they're going to win both games against Chicago. So something to look at, something to look forward to. But like I said, I don't think they're going to have enough to be able to beat the Eagles. And as long as the Eagles do what the Eagles know how to do and come out of the gate like they did last year against Atlanta, we should not have a problem moving forward. Anyways, Everybody, thank you very much for hanging with me as this half hour goes by very, very quickly. Again, the Phillies are on tonight at 6:45, and you'll be able to see that. They don't have it on any special channel, so you're going to be able to watch it on normal channels. And like I said, it's Barry Falter on the mound. Hopefully, they're able to take this one, and because the Mets, like I said, have a doubleheader today against the Pirates. Braves are playing against the A's, so it's going to be a very interesting, day to see who's going to be atop on the National League East at the end of the day. But until that time, and we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow hosting the Mac and Jack show right before I head to Detroit, because tomorrow I am heading over out that way, and we're going to have a great time. So I'll be doing a lot of reports from Detroit from here on out starting tomorrow. But as always, thank you for joining me, and go Philly. Yeah. Have a